You hear that? That's the sweet sound of iOS 6, and which was the last iOS version to include this iconic slide to unlock sound, as well as this skeuomorphic UI design, which makes it look more like real life objects. As for example, in the Notes app, it looks like a real notepad. And this was the last skeuomorphic iOS version because Scott Forstall was fired, who was the lead iOS designer. As I explained in my video, which I'll link below in the description, about whether iOS 6 ended the Steve Jobs era. iOS 6 was released in 2012 and it brought a whole lot of new features with it. One of the most notable features of iOS 6 was that it removed the include YouTube and Google Maps icon apps for Apple Maps, which was very controversial as launch, is why Scott Forstall was fired. And then the Passbook app, which is like a precursor to Apple Wallet, which will basically let you collect all your passes. Another very important feature that I think is heavily overlooked with iOS 6 is that it introduced Do Not Disturb, which is a major feature that I actually use during school hours. So this was a major feature. And another cool thing about iOS 6 is that it was the first iOS version to include the clock app on the iPad. And Apple actually licensed the Swiss Railroad clock to be used for this icon, and I believe they paid quite a lot of money for it. But it was only ever used in iOS 6 on the iPad, as they reverted to the basic black clock icon on iOS 7, which I'll actually show you right here on my iPad mini 1. And the iPad mini 1, iPad 4th generation, iPod Touch 5, and iPhone 5 all initially launched with iOS 6, which is pretty cool. Now granted, these two devices are both dual booted, but this iPhone 5 either legitimately runs iOS 6 or else was downgraded during the downgrade party back in January of 2018. But this is beloved by a tech community because of the last skeuomorphic iOS version, which I understand because, I mean, I like the flat design now, but I really love the skeuomorphic design. I remember back when iOS 7 first launched, how I absolutely hated the new flat design. That actually got me interested in looking up what previous iOS versions look like. Because iOS 6 is so beloved by the tech community, there's a lot of jailbreak tweaks made to fix it. Like, for example, there was a jailbreak tweak I know to fix the weather app, which let me check this on my iPhone 5. Okay, there was a tweak to fix the weather app, but it broke. Okay, I guess my iPhone 5 running iOS 6 is dead now because its battery life is trash, okay? Saying that didn't happen, let's just move on to more stuff about jailbreak tweaks to iOS 6, is that you can install tweaks like AppSync to install apps, which is really cool. As you can tell on my iPod Touch 5th generation, I installed Flappy Bird. And this is the version, believe it or not, without cryptocurrency, which is really cool. Alright, I died. There's also a lot of other cool jailbreak tweaks. Like I forgot the name of this tweak, but let me actually check the name of this tweak. It's a tweak that enables iPhone 10 like gestures on older devices. On iOS 6 is just native to iPads though. And I also have this tweak that lets you rotate in landscape mode on older devices, which is really cool. Now I didn't install this on my iPhone 5 because unfortunately the only way you get these is through a pirate repo, because the Cydia store is now down. Yeah, it's really cool. However, the problem is that like the dock doesn't revert back unless you lock the. Okay, apparently I have to reboot it. But I remember back when after iOS 7 launched, I remember loving to use iOS 6 on my grandmother's iPod Touch 4th generation, just because it looks so different. And now I collect Apple devices, obviously I can use iOS 6 whenever I want. That's also really cool, even though I don't really use iOS 6 that much. But I also want to give a big shout out to That Crazy Coconut for suggesting this video, because I did one of these videos back in 2021, but it's been 3 years, and I thought I might do one now that my voice has dropped. Whilst iOS 6 is obsolete in 2024, it's still fun to use. So what was your experience of iOS 6 back when it was new, or did you use it back when it was new? Please comment that down below. As always, thank you all for watching this video. I'm the iTunes family, and peace out.